never going to be able to have another kid because I have too much student loan debt.
Garnishing my check for student loans is crazy.
Nationally, we have 47 million students who have borrowed, and many people feel like they will be paying their entire life.
And student loans has haunted me for 17 plus years. That is how long I've been a nurse.
Shout out to everyone who is in way over their heads with student loan, federal, private student loan debt.
I'm sorry. I should have known. I forgot that when I was a teenager, I was at the same level of the greatest financial minds in the country. My bad. Sorry.
I think that education, like housing and healthcare, should be free.
You should have known better. No, I shouldn't have. I was a child, a literal child. And now here I am, 12 years later. And I can't live. I literally cannot afford to live. I can't afford to live. So, like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Literally, what am I supposed to do? I'm just...
Again, I've lost all ability to react. But that be wild.
Remember when everybody said, go to college, you'll be fine? And now they're staring at loan balances that refuse to die. Let's talk about it. Check this out.
Realizing that I'm never going to be able to have another kid because I have too much student loan debt. And I've worked as a teacher for my entire career and made no money. Also, I had a really bad relationship and we bought a house when I was freaking 25 and I've paid for that for my entire life. So I have no money and I'm not going to be able to have another kid. So what a fantastic use of my time and resources. I'm super glad I've wasted my entire life educating other people while sacrificing myself, working 2 or 3 jobs. Wonderful decisions. I make wonderful decisions.
Garnishing my check for student loans is crazy. That just feels so illegal because how dare you? As a citizen of this country, I deserve the right to a free education. And I guess I could have had that if I went to a community college, but I wanted to stay on campus. Regardless, my education should have been free here. Oh, they can kiss my ass.
We have 68,000 people over the age of 62 who are still paying their crippling student loans. Student loan payments for federal loans are now due again. For 4 years, those federal loans were paused, but they're not paused anymore. It is estimated that millions of borrowers are going to have their credit hit this summer because they have not started making the payments again. In Georgia, we have 1.7 million student loan borrowers. Nationally, we have 47 million students who have borrowed. And many people feel like they will be paying their entire life.
I'm going to share my stupidity and ignorance with student loans. My name's Carrie. I am a nurse practitioner, and student loans has haunted me for 17 plus years. That is how long I've been a nurse. And it has affected my mental health. It's affected my financial situation. It has affected my life. It affected my first marriage. I'm now divorced and I'm remarried, but it affected that. It put a strain on my family and it almost destroyed me. First, I was told when I was getting my 2-year degree that I should take out whatever loans are available to me and that it's likely when I graduate, they'll all be paid back. Well, I'm a baby, so I'm 20 years old at this time, and I've never been taught anything about finance. I've never been directed in the right path with what I should and should not do with that. So I just said, yeah, that sounds great. Everything sounds great. So the money kept coming in, right? An $8,000 check, a $6,000 check, semester by semester. And then I developed a habit where I thought that was just the norm because I didn't take a break in school. So I went and got my bachelor's degree. And then I went and got my doctorate degree. So it was really no big breaks long enough where I could realize, hey, this was a bad decision. Stop. I'm talking thousands of dollars of student loans. Now, they did pay for my school. It did pay for my books. I continued to work while I was going to school because I needed to, and I wanted that experience. And instead of taking the minimal amount to help me get through college, I didn't. I just took whatever was available. It affected me so negatively. It has caused strain and worry and has and developed my compassion fatigue as a nurse, or part of it, because I immediately needed to work more because that first couple of months out of school, you have to start paying your loans. And so that worry was always there. And it led to me hating what I was doing because I was working so very much. Now, I have completely paid off my private loans, thank God. Yes, I had private loans and public loans. Did that. Private about did me in because the interest rate just kept soaring higher and higher and higher, and I could never get out. I always felt like I was under pressure and just barely keeping my head out of water, if that makes sense. So I still have my public student loans, and I'm 37, and I started school when I was 20, and I've been out since 2014. It's been miserable, let me just say that, but I've developed this channel specifically to help mentor nurses, to help prevent burnout, to help current burnout, to talk about student loans and the issues that surrounds that, because it's a real thing, and it has followed me around for my whole adult life.
Shout out to everyone who is in way over their heads with student loan, federal, private student loan debt. Crazy. I think I pay more than most people's mortgage and rent every month. And they're like, for the next 10 years, I owe so much money. I had to, for my bachelor's of nursing, for my third degree, I actually had to do private loans because it's my third degree, and I had federal that was all maxed out. No more grants, no nothing. And the interest rate is, I think on one of them, it's 15.75, which is absolute, just murder me now. It's disgusting. Yeah, so anyone else in this boat, all my money's not mine. I work my ass off. None of the money's mine. So, I guess for the next whatever, how many years, I need to just hunker down, zombie it, and pay off this dumbass debt just to better myself in life. I came from nothing, so I didn't have parents or family that could help me with anything. That's why I went to the military so young, to afford a life for myself. Yeah, that's what I'm dealing with right now. And it's annoying when I pay $21.50 a month. It sucks.
The same people who intentionally and maliciously caused wage stagnation over the last 20 years, in the conversation about student debt relief, want to say it's your fault for not having factored that in to your college plans when you were a teenager 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago. That apparently when you were like 17, you should have known that there was a capitalist conspiracy at play, that when you graduated from college, wages would not allow you to keep up with paying the interest that would continue to increase on your student loans. Like for me, I graduated college in 2006. I am old. The hair probably should have keyed you in. So I graduated college in 2006. In 2008, we had a huge recession, which apparently I should have known about in advance. Apparently, it was my poor planning that allowed that to happen. Definitely had nothing to do with politics at the time, or who the president was, and whether or not he had spent all of the country's money on a war based on lies that ultimately had no real point to it. Nope, it was all on me going to art school. I'm real sorry, everybody. I'm really sorry that I caused that recession to happen. I'm really sorry about my planning and how it affected how the rest of all of y'all's future has played out. Definitely not the fault of banks or anything. And I should have known that my federal student loan would have been sold to a private company who has, by the way, been sued multiple times for its misleading and unfair practices. Again, I'm sorry. I should have known. I forgot that when I was a teenager, I was at the same level of the greatest financial minds in the country. My bad. Sorry.
You know what's one expense that I will forever hate paying every single month is my student loans. I'm 41 years old, 41, and I went to college in 2002. 2002. It is two, it is about to be 2026 and I am still paying my fucking student loans. And I know that that's something that I took out, but my parents are immigrants, they didn't have money, and I really wanted to go to college. Like I was not in a really good place, back then when I took those loans out. I needed to get out of my situation. I needed to get out of Florida where I was living, and I really wanted to get away. And so I made that decision. So I own that. Like I have accountability for my student loans, but somehow that feels like predatory in a way. And so I took out like $81,000, 81 to go to school. And I've often met people along the way that went to school, especially in other countries like Norway, and like I've traveled the world and I've met these people, and education is free, especially in places also like in Argentina. And it just it bothers me that in this country, in the US, like you are giving money to a 17, 18-year-old that has no financial knowledge, especially me. I was an immigrant kid. Like I didn't know anything about student loans. It bothers me so much that that loan, and I will forever carry it. Well, not forever until I pay it. Paying it back. And so I'm close now to paying it. I don't know how many years after, but I have about $7,000 left, seven, and I've paid a big chunk. I made a goal to pay it off, but it bothers me. It bothers me so much. Every time I pay it every month, looking at that loan, it is one of those things that like it instills anger in me because I think that education, like housing and healthcare, should be free. And the fact that a 17-year-old kid that knew nothing about finance was able to take out close to $81,000 for his education, and I have a bachelor's degree. I don't think that there's any. I don't think that that's fair. Um, and I might sound bitter, but I don't know. Does anybody else feel that way?
I'm crashing the fuck out because who let an 18-year-old decide to take out a student loan? I $90,000 was my original amount. I know that's a lot. I know I'm stupid. Whatever. I don't fucking care at this point. There's nothing I can do about it. But $90,000. I'm 30 years old now. And I haven't looked at it because I'm like, ignorance is bliss. I don't want to fucking know how much money I'm paying. I pay $1,000 a month, and I've been paying $1,000 a month ever since I graduated in 2017. I don't know. That's a lot of money. It's over my amount, and I look today, I still have to pay another $122,000 before I'm done. Like, what the fuck? Like, so I'm gonna pay $200,000. I'm struggling to like everything is so fucking expensive, and $1,000 a month would literally change my life. And I have 118 more payments left until I'm done. Like, that's crazy. Like, tell me that's not so insane. And people who say, "Oh, well, you shouldn't have taken out a loan if you weren't prepared to pay it back." I am prepared to pay it back. I've paid it back. I paid back how much I took out. The interest rates are so crazy that I still have $120,000 to pay. Look me in the eyes and tell me that's fair. Tell me it's fair. Tell me it's fair that anybody has to suffer and struggle this much because when they were 18, people told them, go to college. It's going to help you get a good job. You're going to be able to pay back this loan. No problem. Why? 18 years old. Like, you should have known better. No, I shouldn't have. I was a child, a literal child. And now here I am, 12 years later. And I can't live. I literally cannot afford to live. I can't afford to live. So, like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Literally, what am I supposed to do? I'm just...
I don't think people understand how fucked up it is that we just let kids rack up huge amounts of debt going to college and getting degrees that they'll never be able to get good jobs with. I talk to kids all the time that have racked up a huge amount of debt getting a useless degree, and they're really thinking about going on and getting an MBA that's also useless that will rack up even more debt for them, and they've never even had a job where they've made good money at all. Then nobody in the education system has ever really produced real work in the real world that they've been paid for. It's all these bureaucrats that have just been living in this educational bubble, giving terrible advice to kids that doesn't make any sense, is not translatable to making money in the real world. It's really dark that we're putting so many kids into financial slavery, not even giving them a good shot at making good money with real valuable degrees. I'm going to say it, and I'm probably going to get banned, but your gender studies degree was not a good investment. And it was fucked up of the government as a kid to allow you to take out a really big loan that you're going to be stuck paying for the next 20 years when you're not going to be able to find a job that pays you $100K for getting that degree and putting in that work. Meanwhile, I work with people all the time that have no college degree but have 6 months of sales experience working at a used car dealership. They're getting jobs making six figures working in tech sales. The education system is not a place for smart people. If you're a young person and you've never been around successful people, then it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that the educators around you, the college professors, know what they're talking about. But they clearly don't because they ended up as college professors. That is not a successful outcome for a life. That's a perpetual state of childhood. It's like adults that you see getting excited about going to see children's movies. This is not the result that you want for your life.
So I just checked my Credit Karma, and there's nothing that frustrates me more than going to school, getting an education, becoming a nurse, and then at the end of it, look at my debt. That's how much I owe, and probably more after graduating. I just wish that there was a better system, for students who can't afford to go to school.
The fact that you owe $273,288.44 on student loans is
Mind-boggling.
vomit-inducing.
Okay, so I started going to college immediately after I graduated high school, which was in 1995.
That was the year I was born.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good year. But I had
Apparently
to
not for you.
No, I had to take a break because I had to work. So I had to finance this by myself. My parents did not help me at all. So
Yeah,
I had to
sure.
take out loans. As I got to be in where I had to have my own apartment and things like that, I found myself in transition often, as in I didn't have a job. So I'm like, my student loan payment would come through, or financing rather would come through, and I would just take the maximum so that I could support myself while I was looking for another job. Yes, absolute wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
But
I
at a private institution out of state or what?
It was initially community college. Then it went
is too high for that.
But that was in the beginning.
And then you went to?
Then I ended up going to a private school for 6 months. I got kicked out. And then
Why'd you get kicked out?
I didn't pay. Like they told, I had a pre-approval for a loan.
Okay. And then after that?
And then once I got there, the pre-approval
after
was
you
denied.
got kicked out?
And then after I got kicked out, I moved here to Texas. And I started from Kansas City.
Okay.
And I started going to school online.
And that's where the intermittent job thing kept happening.
Yeah, but you borrowed so much money. So how long were you in school?
Between 2007 and I finished my master's in 2011. I experienced 3 periods of unemployment during that time.
Yeah, but the amount of money you borrowed to live, I don't think you were living on your minimums, your needs. You were living high and
I had to
going
pay my
crazy.
rent and I had to pay utilities.
No, we know based on how you live right now, where you blamed your rent at the
No,
beginning.
I was not doing DoorDash then. DoorDash didn't exist then. This is
DoorDash
2007.
and a restaurant still existed before
I
DoorDash.
wasn't eating out. I was eating hot dogs. I'm not lying.
I can't believe there's no way you borrowed $273,000 to live for
No,
5 years.
No. It accumulates. I kept deferring.
You're right. You took out $193,000.
Right.
There's no way you borrowed $193,000 without living above your means. And now you're just hurting yourself even more because again, yeah, you're not doing anything and you're allowing interest to accrue and you've taken it from 193 to 273. Why ruin your life with this?
I just don't.
It's 100% your choice. At least you could at least try to get on something like the save plan.
I am on the save plan.
Oh, you're on the save plan now?
Yes.
Bad news, it's getting challenged dramatically in court.
I know, but like right now, payments are on hold until they work that out.
What was your payment? Your monthly payment?
It's like 2,000 something.
Yeah, once you're in the save plan.
Oh, I'm sorry. In the save plan, it was $255, I think.
Okay. Again, I've lost all ability to react. But that'd be wild.
Some folks paid off their loans, and some are still fighting for their lives every single month. Either way, this conversation is not going away no time soon. Drop your thoughts below, and let's keep it real. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and follow all my future videos. Happy every day.
I know if it's overthink,